Hey, I'm Ray Latif. I'm with BevNET. I'm here with John Craven. We're on the floor at Natural Products Expo West 2015 here in Anaheim, California. We're going to be talking about ingredient trends and definitely seeing a lot of things pop. A lot of people are infusing into their beverages. Top of mind, protein. Lots of protein in beverages. What do you see?
Yeah, I think protein's something that for a while had kind of been hard for a lot of products to infuse into natural products, mainly because they had been trying to stay away from soy and dairy. And now, it seems like that stuff between, nut and seed-oriented products as well as things like pea protein, it's starting to finally get to a point where companies can create a protein drink with the flavor profile that, they're pleased with. So I think that's kind of what's driving it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're seeing a lot of milk-based protein products as well. I mean, Organic Valley was really pushing hard on a couple of their products.
Definitely making a comeback.
Yeah, for sure. Coco Libre was really pushing with their milk-based protein drink as well. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the interest, specifically at this show, is with vegan proteins. Califia Farms recently reformulated their almond milk protein products with a vegan a source. So it's really interesting to see how that category or that ingredient is developing in this industry. Another one that I saw quite a bit of was turmeric. Turmeric as an ingredient is pretty hot. It's considered that magic cure-all ingredient. What do you think? What do you think about the use of that ingredient and how consumers are going to be able to? What consumers think of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Turmeric Alive, now Temple Turmeric, has made their business out of that. So there's clearly something there. But as an ingredient in other products, I think it was pretty interesting just to see the different. I mean, it's a potent ingredient, right? So, for example, there's the Uncle Matt's, their orange juice that's infused with turmeric. It's a really light sort of secondary flavor. I think that's pretty interesting just to see it being used that way.
Yeah, certainly for functionality as well, which is something we didn't see for Uncle Matt's, which is also extended their line with a matcha lemonade, a reduced calorie orange juice that's made with coconut water. The coconut water one and the turmeric one both are also infused with probiotics, which is something, gut health is becoming that big buzzword that particularly in the natural foods industry. What are you seeing in that particular space?
I think that's something that there are still just a handful of companies that seem to be dabbling in it. Some of it is driven by, they have a particular probiotic ingredient from a supplier that they're, branding in their product. But there's certainly products like kombuchas that are focused on that. So I think it's a pretty sort of accepted staple function. So when I say only a couple companies dabbling in it, I think, there aren't that many that are new ones that are sort of hanging their hat on probiotics as their purpose. So
right. On the other hand, you have a product, an ingredient like matcha, which a lot of people are hanging their hat on. You're seeing a few different companies lead with matcha lines. Eat Wen with their new RTD line. T-Pigs is coming out with an RTD line. What are you seeing there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty cool and exciting in that, tea has sort of been at this point where there hasn't been a new tea for a while. Right. And not that matcha's new, but it is something that I think represents a new kind of flavor experience too. So I'm not surprised that that's popping up. I mean, again, to go back to the Uncle Matt's, it being in a lemonade, I think, seeing a brand like that's kind of about, mainstream oriented, flavor and price, embracing something like matcha and giving it a try, I think that's a pretty good sign.
Well, it's interesting, a few of the brands that we talked to were saying that customers don't necessarily know what matcha is, but they know it's good for them.
Right.
It's kind of like turmeric in that regard.
Well, it's being sold, I think, effectively as it's superpower green tea, right? And everyone knows what green tea is, and it's good for you. So saying, telling a story of this being more potent, I think that's a pretty easy thing to communicate.
Sure. Two other ingredients that we've seen quite a bit of in the last few years, Chia and coconut water. Chia hasn't necessarily expanded in terms of the number of brands that are leading with chia as their ingredient, but you definitely see a lot more chia infused in products. We got a sneak peek of the Purely Organic that's got some chia in there. Chia V extended their line with a chia infusions, and then just a million different food brands that we've seen, just everyone promoting chia.
Yeah, I think both of those ingredients, at this point, Mama Chia kind of owns being the Chia platform company. They're big companies that are now the coconut water sort of platform companies. So there are a lot fewer new startups that are trying to go into that, knowing that that window is sort of closed. So I think now it's sort of like, how else can we use it? How can we, make a new flavor or add some functionality, cut calories, whatever it might be. And, I think the uses that we're seeing now are actually, a little more interesting in that sense. So, seeing a brand like a Purity, add that in, add Chia in, I think it's pretty cool, like, nice way to add functionality. And I think it's something that people are starting to understand. So.
Yeah.